Welcome once again to Ask Chuck webcast. I appreciate very much all of you participating. You know, I tweet once a week asking you to submit your questions by email, Twitter, or Facebook, and we'll get to those questions in just a moment. But I wanted to tell you that this is one opportunity for you to participate in representative government by doing this. We get a lot more questions than we can respond to on this webcast, so I hope that those of you that don't get your response this way, I'll make sure you get a written response. Now go to the questions that I got from, the first one is Brandon, and it's a Twitter. The government requires you to buy insurance on your car, your house, but mandating health insurance would be a government first. That's absolutely right, because the difference is that when you talk about mandating car insurance, that's under various state laws. There's no federal law that requires you buy car insurance. The federal government in 224 years has never said that you have to buy anything. So this would be the first time in the 225-year history that the federal government says you have to buy something. In this case, it's health insurance. I think it's unconstitutional, whereas a state can make you buy car insurance and the federal government can't, is because the states have all powers that are not specifically given to the federal government or prohibited under the federal Constitution. So that's a lot of power that state governments have that the federal government doesn't have, because the federal government is a government of what we call a government of limited power. In other words, they can only do what's specifically said in the Constitution. So I don't believe the Interstate Commerce Clause or the 10th Amendment would give the federal government the authority to require you to buy health insurance, and that would be one of the reasons that I voted against the present health insurance bill when it passed the Senate on a straight party line vote on Christmas Eve. I go to the second question. What can you do to get this appliance rebate program in Iowa to work? And that comes from Brenda, and it's a Facebook question. Brenda is from Dike, Iowa. And I hope I said previously that Brandon was from Des Moines. If I didn't do that, Brandon, I wanted to make that clear. So now we go to the question, what can you do to get this appliance rebate program in Iowa to work? And I'm very glad that Brandon asked that question, because I am getting a lot of phone calls that insinuate that I'm doing something to hold this program up. Well, I'm not doing anything, because I serve in the United States Senate in Washington, D.C. And the program is a state of Iowa program to get a rebate on home appliances. So before I finish, I give you a short review of what's going on in the Senate this week. We're on a tax extender bill to extend things like several tax provisions that stopped on December 31st. What we call sunset, so they have to be reenacted. They can be changed. Probably in this case we're going to reenact them just the way they were last year. And some of those would be to reinstitute the tax deductibility of college tuition for middle class families, reinstitute the tax deductibility of expenses that teachers spending their own money could use to help them get supplies for their classroom, extend where 7 states aren't able, they don't have an income tax, so people can't deduct their income tax from their federal income tax. So we're allowing the state sales tax to be deducted in those instances, and something that's very close to Iowans, as well as 43 other states, the biodiesel tax credit ran out. 29,000 people unemployed. So we hope by passing this tax extenders bill that we will reinstitute these tax programs so people can continue their tax deductions that they have right now. Thank you very much, and I look forward to participating in Ask Chuck webcast next week.